You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome, listeners, to another episode of All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on BQN and the Fandom Podcast Network. I'm your host, Kelvin, and with me today, it's Amy, Christos, and extra special guest, Joe Keegan. Remember, Patreon patrons, you can now watch All Good Things as an extended video edit of this very episode at patreon.com/BQN. Joe Keegan, who let you in on the show?
I don't know. You guys begged, then sent me a check for $10,000.
We're not too proud to beg.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did sort of launch this music idea when we had Joe on the view screen. So we've got some trickle down coming from our view screen.
This
Rolling
is
out.
the works.
Is that all I am? Trickle down?
It's the multiverse. It's all tied together.
Yes.
Sounds like I need an ointment.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
We're not doing medical ethics today, Joe.
Yeah.
We'll save that story. How are you, Amy?
Oh my gosh, doing great. Enjoying all of the festivities and parties that are going on. Having a good time.
Have you finished school yet, or have you still got a few?
One more week. Yes.
Is that the same for you, Joe?
Yeah, I finished up on Friday. But I've got the Panto this week as well, so it's a super busy week.
Yay.
Get
Are
to
you
drag
panto
myself
gaming it up?
I am, as usual, yes.
Brilliant.
I know.
Be sure to share pictures with me. I love seeing them.
Oh, they're lovely on Facebook. Of course.
And how are you, Christos? Have you got much to do yet at work for the year?
Yeah, actually, I'm busier than ever when it comes to work. It just, unfortunately, it's just the way that is. So, but it's all good. I'm having a good time. I also finished my Lego build yesterday, so now I'm going to wonder what I'm going to do with myself, because that's kind of consumed my free time in the living room here for the last week and a half. So,
Are you going to take it apart and do it again, or is that it now? It's going on display.
no, and I am waiting for a missing piece to be sent to me, so it is kind of technically not 100% complete. But Legos, I've never done a real professional Lego build before. There's a whole lego.com/service, and all the part numbers are in the instruction book. And I even ordered extra decals because I do have the wrong decal. So, while I was at it, I wasn't going to order it. To booty. Anyways, I really
messed up there, haven't they?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it though. I'm now I kind of want to do more, but it's I don't want to. If there's more Star Trek, I'll keep it going, but I don't know that I want to start getting into other stuff because that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's like heroin. It's an expensive addiction.
Well, everyone knows I'm a big Star Wars fan, and there are tons of Star Wars sets, so that could be a black hole.
I'm excited to see what the range is going to be for Star Trek Lego when they release new kits. I hope it's going to be frequent and interiors as well, not just ships. Somewhere for the little figures to play, like quartz bar or sick bay, bridge, you name it. Cool. Yeah. Amy, you've already mentioned that one of the reasons we've got Joe here today, but formally, would you like to explain this week's topic and maybe give a little bit of a synopsis of the episode?
Yes. So we are talking music of Star Trek, and this is our part 2, and we are going to be discussing the Next Generation's The Inner Light, everyone, The Inner Light. How could we not discuss that for music? So an alien probe disables Captain Picard, who wakes up as Cayman in a resident of the planet Catan. While the crew of the Enterprise tries to jam the probe's influence, Cayman lives through the final dying decades of his homeworld in the span of approximately 20 minutes in the form of an interactive ancestor simulation, featuring an original score by Jay Chataway, which was later remastered into a 6-minute orchestral suite.
Thank you. So I was curious because it got me thinking about my own past. Who's got musical abilities in the group. Joe's hand's gone straight up. I'll come to you later, show off.
And spades.
Christos, can you tinkle the ivories, or how's your fingering skills?
So it's kind of funny. Of course, I had to learn the recorder in like the 4th grade, and I thought about this and I recalled I did try out for saxophone in 7th grade and was good to do it, but I don't know why. I told my dad, like, never mind. I'm not going to do that, and so I guess I missed that opportunity. Now I love music. I'm always listening to music, whether it's orchestra, classical type music, or pop, dance, whatever. And I think at some point though, I might have missed something there, because I have an ear for like hearing where things are being sampled and influenced, and I don't even always know the word for it. My best friend is a musical director here at a local high school, and I always talk to him about it, and he translates that for me all the time. He's like, but I always hear when, okay, they borrowed from this other song. I can pick out those melodies, and you ever had that? This reminds me of that. So other than that, I don't play anything. I'm just a big critic.
Do you think you'd pick it up is it something that you might think of doing as a hobby in later life, or do you think the time has gone now?
Honey, I'm 48. It is later in life.
No, absolutely not.
You admitted that. Full disclosure. And what about yourself, Amy? Have you got any musical aspirations?
Well, I have been playing the piano since I was thinking it's got to be since I was 7 years old. I had piano lessons and try to continue to play. I brought out my Christmas music, so I'm playing on my favorite Christmas ones, and it's just for me. I do not play for other people. It's gone like downhill. I used to play in church all the time. And then when I was in middle school, I did 4 years of clarinet. So I can say I do that. But then I sold my clarinet and just focused on piano. So those are my 2 musical talents.
Wow, I didn't know you played clarinet. I think we've got that in common. Amazing. Right, come on, Joe, blow us away with your musical skills.
Yes, my hobbies that I collect.
Guys.
Yeah. So yeah, like Amy, I started learning piano when I was 7, and I hated it. Absolutely hated going to piano lessons every Monday night for about 9 years. It was horrific until I got to about 16, and I thought, I can actually play. I've got a skill here, and then I started to really enjoy it. High school, bit like Amy, played clarinet, and I kind of stopped after high school. Piano was my thing, but I happened to whip out the old clarinet for a wee blow today, especially for the podcast, and I can get a sound out of it. And the fingering is a bit like Christos is coming back to me.
Very good.
A little bit rusty, yeah. But apart from that, do you know what? I think I'm a musician at heart. I'm in a band. We have stuff on vinyl. I write music, don't I?
Yeah. Yes.
I wrote the theme tune for the Bluesky.
You did indeed.
Yes.
And Galaxy Class a million years ago. Yeah. So musician at heart.
I remember we had this thing at school, and it was almost like a government funding test, and it was called the Musical Ears Test. And about 3 people in our year group passed the Musical Ears Test, and we were allowed to then start playing an instrument. And we started on the violin, but for some strange reason, the school lost the funding, or all of the instruments were taken away. So that was very brief. But I always wanted to play the saxophone. And I think it was because of The Simpsons with Lisa Simpson on the saxophone. But I was always told you can't go straight into saxophone. You must start on the clarinet because it's similar technique. And I recently learned years that's rubbish. So I played the clarinet for many years, but gave up around 14, 15, just when your tastes change, etc. But I remember a lot of carol concerts. Yeah, you wet your reed for me and I'll blow. Yeah, good memories. I wish I'd stuck with it, but I do in later life. I think I would have preferred to play the piano. I think it's just It's nice at a party, isn't it? Like if someone can play the piano. Joe, I remember when we were at Destination Star Trek in Birmingham, and you'd play the piano and everyone would sing show tunes in Star Trek uniforms.
20 gays on a piano,
Yeah.
That's
good
what
memories. Yeah. And then that stupid Hilton, the Hilton of the NAC got rid of their piano. They don't have the piano in the foyer anymore.
Yeah, got rid of it.
Disgusted.
So, in the episode, we see the struggles of Picard having to slowly, over the course of the years, come to terms with his memory of being Picard is a dream and coming is real. How do we all feel that this was handled? Because it flashed forward 5 years and he just kind of accepted it at that point. Do you think that was realistic? Do you think it was too soon? Was it too much? So, Christos, what do you think of the acceptance of the situation?
I mean, it does move a little fast. I mean, this episode, I don't want to say it could have been a two-parter because I feel like it might have run on too long. But I do like that they fast forwarded 5 years and they make that known. So, for 5 years, he's still pushing back on this idea that he's not who he is, thinks he is, or they think he is. So, but he does just like one day just throw in the towel. It's like, okay, let's have some kids. So,
you're pulling your face, Amy. Do you have a different view?
Yes, because I felt that it was handled extremely well. Like he was hanging on maybe a little too long, but it comes to a point where you're going to be in this continual stagnation of, I am Picard. I am Picard. Well, your life right now is not Picard. So what are you going to do about it? And you need to accept where you are and just say, all right, it's going to be, I'm okay for now. I have a community surrounding me that seems to love me. I have this wife who loves me. Like, I'm safe. I'm okay. Now let's improve it. And I feel like when he's like, okay, I can't find a solution to get to Picard. So let's live right now and let's have this child. Let me defend, be a part of the community. And I feel that was handled very well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Was it, though, a question of Picard letting go or not? Or was it the technology of the probe just following its program and the simulation?
So as though we have no control over it, you mean?
Right.
Like a story was playing out.
Yeah, there was that in the show, I'm Picard, where am I, what's going on? And then he just ran through the simulation until he got to the end.
That's kind of
what we don't really know.
So somewhere between Amy and Christos there of, did he still believe he was Picard, but he was just saying, well, these are now my situations. I will take on that. My name is Kelvin, and I will lead this life. Or did the Picard life fade like a dream? Was it always there? Did he always remember? Did he give up the struggle? Or was he, did he become Kelvin? I found it hard to accept. Christos.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we don't know that, right? We don't know if it was just getting harder and harder to remember Picard, or if, or if it was the result of the way the probe was programmed. I would say, though, there would probably be a Starfleet protocol of, hey, I've maybe been kidnapped by Romulans for all you know, and I need to struggle to maintain my wits and get out of this, right? So, and I think that's what we see in the beginning, right? He's, I'm thinking of what is the is it Future Imperfect, where Riker is kidnapped and it's 16 years in the future, and that's all, that simulation's all very real. So kind of like, you don't, like, something's going on here and I have a duty to get myself out of it, not just sit back and accept it, and who knows what that could be.
Okay, what about the reverse of the situation? So the disorientation at the end of the episode, I felt, was really genuine in the scenes. But we say this all the time about Berman era Star Trek, the need for that big reset button. You know, Christos, you let it play out, and he was in Time's Arrow a few minutes later with no.
Yeah, exactly. Going back and talking to Whoopi.
This you've now got, what was it, 40 years of new memories, a new identity. Think about how much you've changed as a person in the last 5 years, 10 years, as we go through things in life. Picard should not have been the same Picard at the end of the episode as he was at the beginning. He was a completely different man. So, do you think it was too rushed?
I suppose it depends on how the probe was working. Was it actually implanting a full life's worth of memories into Picard's brain, or was it more just like a temporal dream simulation?
Crusher says.
Yeah, we don't know.
No, I think he downloaded all of that because it says our memories live on in you. Like they even say that to him as he's about to come out of it. Like this whole thing was designed so that he would know all about their civilization and it would be carried forward. So you're right, Kelvin, in saying that he's got 40 years of memories just all packed into his head, and you would not be the same person you were 25 minutes ago.
Yeah. Hell of a week for Deanna Troi to be a no-show, isn't it, Amy?
No, I think that Troi does handle Picard after the Borg, like any crew's trauma in my headcanon. Troi is doing intense therapy. It's just that that's not good TV in the 90s. They didn't know how to make therapy sexy and, have the ratings. So that in my headcanon is happening. And she is extremely busy, especially with Picard, because he goes through a lot of trauma. And I think you're right. Like his lifetime, what I was thinking about with what you were saying, he is Cayman, but he is Picard as well. And so we see him constantly looking up to the stars, which, we know he does a lot. And that core value that he loves, that exploration, comes through in Cayman. And so I think that's where you meld the two personalities, the two people of this, okay, I am Cayman and I am Picard, because there's those similar values that are your core.
Mm.
Yeah. I think it would have been nice if, go ahead.
No, you go, Christos.
No, I was going to say, I think it would have been really nice if this could have been a pivot point in the show to say, okay, now maybe Picard wants children now. Maybe he wants to have a family, because that would have fundamentally changed who he was. And it would make a really good sense to explain why he just, and I think that could have been a good storyline for season 6. Maybe it's Beverly, maybe it's Nella Darren, whoever, it's maybe he changes his mind and wants to get married and become a father because he's had this experience.
I would have loved that. I think that would have been such a development, a permanent, like a fixed point development in the character, a fundamental change. I was thinking of the Deep Space Nine episode. I'm not saying it's a do-over of Inner Light, but where Miles O'Brien has the memories of being in prison for years implanted, and the mental health issues of him coming out of that and having to have counseling, and he's changed. I think it was addressed in that episode really well, even though again it was done at the end of the episode, than in this. So I just think, our characters go through a lot in the 12 months of a season of Next Generation, and it's just like another day at work, and you just expected to get over it. It's really odd.
If it was the real world, Picard would have been pulled from command. He's essentially had the influence of an alien race and 40 years of memories implanted in him. He wouldn't be in charge of the flagship. It's too much of a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, that should have happened after the Borg experience too.
Yeah. Exactly. But they're superhumans.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't exist.
Yeah. My takeaway, and I never, I've seen this episode at least 5 to 10 times over the years. And after watching it yesterday, my thought was like, Picard probably would have, if it were anybody else, they would have taken a long sabbatical or even quit and started to document that whole civilization, right? That would become an archaeological project. That would have been, there would have been all of that. and, you know, him to like transcribe what he experienced into, you know, something for the archives, right? But no, it's just like you said, on to San Francisco in the 1800s next week.
You know, that's very interesting you bring that up, because I, after losing my mother, was told that, you know, there are two deaths in this world. One where you lose the physical, and then the second death is when people stop talking about you. You're lost, right? Your memories are lost. And with my mother, I love talking about her. And I know sometimes that can be off-putting because people don't know, but like I love sharing my mother's story because she's an amazing human being. And I want, because I don't have children that knew her, I want my friends to know my mom, you know? And so it's sort of like that. But then when people stop talking about you, then you are lost. And that we see this beautiful solution to this civilization's problem of being consumed by this sun going supernova.
It's funny you say that, Amy. No, it's like my brother, my older brother, who doesn't have any empathy, I think, and very, you know, just kind of a dick most of the time. He sent this text. I think he's been going through some stuff lately because he turned 50 earlier this year. There's a musical story I'll get back to later because it ties into this episode. But he sent this text to all of my brothers this morning. We have a text group, and it was something along the lines of, hey, our parents are getting older. Maybe it's time that we start committing to getting together at least once a year, whether it's the holidays or a family vacation or something along those lines, because all of the nieces and nephews they need to know each other, and they need, you know, and it's also the, you know, the stories and the memories, and, you know, you kind of carry all that on. And it was just really funny coming from him of all people, but it was, you know, appreciated. So, and then it was pretty easy. We all committed already to doing it, but I think it was right along with what Amy was saying. It's like, if we don't all get together and have these family experiences and everybody knows everybody, you just become like, you know, that was Uncle Christos. He lived in San Diego and Hawaii, and, you know, he was kind of eccentric and, you know, did his own thing. And, you know, suddenly you become that memory and not this active memory that the kids have experience with.
Yeah, I really struggle with the idea of legacy. And when I'm not here, because statistically I've lived over half my life now. Mm-hmm. So when I see myself as a consumer as well, primarily, when I have to really focus on thinking the stuff that I've created, mm-hmm. the music, the podcast, things that are going to live on. Nobody's going to listen to like 50 episodes of Galaxy Class that I did once upon a time, but they still exist, and I'm still putting stuff out into the universe that's open. And I teach as well, so I'm impacting lives.
Yeah.
But again, I hate the idea that in 200 years in the future, nobody will know me.
Yeah.
I'll be literally nobody will know who I am. I might be a footnote in an archive.
Joe, there might be a big gold statue of you like Miles O'Brien in Lower Decks.
Yeah.
The greatest Scottish Star Trek fan of them all.
That's right. They'll rip down the Burn statue in air and replace it with me. Obviously.
Brilliant. Okay, well, you can tell it's getting on for the holiday season. We're all getting very family focused and reflective and legacy. So let's lighten it a little bit. Okay, so you're in this situation now that Picard found himself in, and you've just woken up in a fantasy life. So you're no longer Amy Nelson. You're thrown into this fantasy life. What does that fantasy life look like, Amy? And would you try to escape it to get back to what you are?
Oh, that last question, Kelvin, is a doozy. I would want something very similar to Picard. Like, I have lived my life with no children, no partner. I would like to live a life and see what that long-term relationship looks like. I'm expert on the, you know, quick relationships, and that experience of being a mother, you know, as being a teacher, I have similar emotional responses, but it's not the thing, you know. So I would definitely want to experience something similar to what Picard did. And would I, I don't know, because I've got a good life. Like, I'm very happy. I don't know how hard I would work to escape to get back to my life. That's a tough one. I'll leave that up.
Interesting. And Christos, would it go the same way for you? Do you have dreams of being daddy?
No, I don't. I mean, I guess I'm already daddy to some people. But I mean, to Amy's point, I'm happy, Joe. But I guess if I'm going to be like 100% like fun with this, to your point, when you set it up, I'd be a couple hundred years in the future serving on a Federation starship and, exploring. I like the idea of, being on a starship and going out and exploring. I mean, that's probably why I like Star Trek, is that whole sci-fi fantasy thing. So I'd be cruising on the Enterprise D,
Yeah,
maybe,
and that would be it, and you'd be happy. What old life?
I mean, I would be in Beverly Crusher's sickbay all the time, getting all the cosmetic procedures. Okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna fix. Hey, let's just new teeth. Let's darken the hair. Let's burn the fat off. Give me something to grow. I would be perfectly chiseled too, because can you imagine where all that is? Where that would be technically with technology.
I'll be in the sick bed right next to you. Sign me up for that.
Amy and I are we're getting ready for our Ryza trip, so you come get us all tuned up.
I'm not going on this away mission. I've just had my nails done.
Kelvin would be like a 24th century Katie Price and Pete Burns, wouldn't it?
Okay. Yeah, right. Americans go to Google and research who those people are, so you've got a good picture of Christos and Amy inhabiting them. And Joe, what would your fantasy be? Are you living the fantasy?
Do you know, I'm like Amy. I have a good life. I quite enjoy this life. I famously, I think it maybe, did I say it? I collect hobbies. There's all in the end times and during the apocalypse of zombies come storming down the street, I'm going to be okay in my house for for the next 50 years because it's full of stuff to do. And I've got my garden. I can grow stuff to eat. But I don't think it's a light-hearted question at all. If you suddenly wake up, where is Ewan? Where is my mum? Mum's still alive, by the way. I'm kind of struggling with that idea of them not being here. My dad died, Jenediah died, Cooper died, 1 year after the other. So, I don't think I could cope with more loss. And it'd be everything that just gone. So the Dylan Thomas poem popped into my head, and that's it's kind of the way Picard reacted at the beginning, computer end program. Why am I here? What are you doing to me? Do not go gently into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. Where is my old life? Take me back there now.
Now, Joe, we don't often start quoting poetry here on All Good Things. We're not that highbrow, so you're going to change the dynamics here.
Well, don't ask me, don't beg me to come on. If
you dumb it down for us, Joe, come on.
I know. If I was, it would be. I would say that I was born a couple of centuries too early. So I would be far off in the future when we are space travelers.
Oh, then you're right there with us.
Yeah. Kelvin, what would your new life look like?
I think similar to what Joe just said. My first thing would be, where's James? And then he'd just be there reading a book in the corner, and everyone can relax. He'd be there with us, being very quiet.
It'd be a robot. It'd be like a tin man. Your living android.
Just been having lots of quiet time with his little book. As I get older, I do have this constant crave for community, connection, meaning. I don't know. I'm going through a weird phase with the way I view work at the moment. It doesn't feel I'm not really contributing to a greater good of anything. It's very, here's your mission. You make money for the company. You get paid in order to do your life. And I know, Christos, you've said recently that that's absolutely fine. We get paid and then go and live your life and have a great life. But There just doesn't
Yeah.
seem something very noble about what I'm doing. I look at people like teachers or artists or people who create legacy. And I think because I've left the business I work at previously and gone back, and then it's weird because you think, well, the business worked really fine without me there. So it was almost like I died, and there was I wasn't missed. So I'm thinking that way. So it'd be something like Starfleet, some kind of community, not necessarily in a command position, just part of something that means something you'd want to give your life for, like people in Starfleet do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, no, I'm not volunteering for any missions.
Lower decks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
no. I want to send people on missions. You go away. Go away and do that dangerous thing.
You can't do that until you've served your time, done your.
He's just going to wake up as an admiral. That's what he's doing.
You can't leapfrog it.
Don't give me any responsibility either.
I think it would be a very fun exercise one day to take our friend group, so to speak, and then map out our starship and who's doing what. Yeah. Let's take that whole group that went to Spain, for example, and be like, okay, now we have to like run a starship. So maybe it's the protostar, something a little bit more compact, and
I've just got images of like a bridge or ops command center with tumbleweed going across, and then 10 forward, and we're all just there having a great time. Is anyone on?
I know exactly.
No.
Who's on the bridge?
James is up. James is up there reading a book.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay,
I'll make cakes, but the cakes will have insulin and Ozempic in them, so nobody ever gets fat or gets diabetes.
Oh, Joe, brilliant. Joe Zempic.
Joe Zempic, yeah. Copyright that. Keep that in.
Right, should we talk about the music?
Oh, yes, please.
That's why we're here today.
Oh, yeah.
So, Amy, tell us a little bit about the musical instrument of choice, because I think that this is quite an interesting story.
It really is, because you always need to remember this is a TV show and it is being produced for television. So according to Jay Chataway, the Ressikan flute was chosen for its photogenic ability because a typical flute is held in front of the actor's face. His composition for the Ressikan flute became one of the most requested pieces in the Paramount Pictures library. Wow.
I love that. Impressive. And I love that you said about the recorder as well, Christos, because I wondered if that is an American thing, because here in the UK, all kids, you've got to play the recorder at school, and it's really it's such an annoying sound.
Yes, it is so annoying.
When I was in the 4th grade, though, they didn't call, where I grew up, they did not call them recorders. They were called flutophones, which I don't know if that's a thing. Yeah. Huh. Joe's making faces.
Yeah, we all had to learn it.
It was the same thing, though.
Yeah.
So, Joe, this is a real cause and effect deja vu moment, because I know on your episode of The View Screen, you actually took us through the origins of this song, because it's got some Scottish roots, does it not? So can you tell us about the inspiration for the Inner Light theme?
So Jay Chataway said that it's like an original composition, but it's initially very, very identical to the Skyboat song, which is an ancient old song, basically about, kind of depicts Bonnie Prince Charlie fleeing after the Battle of Culloden across the sea to the Isle of Skye, and it's got that little tune. I think everybody's covered it. Tori Amos even covered it.
Tori Amos covered the Inner Light?
No, the Skyboat song. Yeah, lots of people have covered it. It's been used as inspiration for the Outlander theme. If you know Outlander, wildly is synonymous with Scotland, I suppose. But the Inner Light theme is, I can play both of them for you, and
could you give us a little blast of the Skyboat song? Are you feeling creative?
I'm not creative. I'm just literally going to read the music. If I remember how to play the clarinet. So yeah, clarinet. Okay, lick my lips.
Now, listeners, if you, I'm just going to jump in. We have not live, but video on our Patreon. So you can actually be watching this. Please go over to patreon.com/BQN.
It's a Skyboat song.
Well done.
Wow.
Thank you, Joe.
About to pass out. Oh.
It's yet more than a passing resemblance to what we know of the Inner Light suite.
Yeah, and so the Inner Light goes. Can I play it? Yeah, do you want me to play it?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, so same first 4 notes.
You mentioned earlier, Christos, that you've watched this episode so many times. I love it when we watch episodes for All Good Things and you learn something new about something that you've not watched for a while. And I just love that I didn't know this next fact. So before I'm going to give it away, I am going to play a little snippet of the episode. Now, I did rip it from a streaming service, so we don't get to see it, but we get to hear the dialogue of the scene. And I want the listeners to think, does this music that is played very briefly in the background, does it remind them of anything? So I'm going to hit play.
People have surgery all the time. He loves playing. He's quite good at it, don't you think?
And he loves doing a lot of things. Last week, all he wanted to do was be a botanist. The week before that, a sculptor. Wish he could find some focus in his life.
I think he has. Maybe you should talk to him.
That eye?
So I had no idea that that small, tiny little piece of music evolved into the Star Trek Picard theme tune that we used for certainly the first 2 seasons. I know season 3, obviously, took the First Contact theme. But yeah, did you guys know that?
No, but it jumped out.
No, but it
there
makes
when
sense.
I listened to it.
Yeah.
Brilliant little fact.
It is written in a in a little script here for me right now, so I kind of like, okay, I got it now. But I think it's clever that there's that kind of deep continuity in that even today's Star Trek, and the people who work on Star Trek take inspiration from that, and it's more thoughtful, right? There's instead of just whatever, we're going to make some action theme song for Picard, that it actually has some meaning to something he's experienced.
Yeah. And speaking of continuity, Christos, there are very few, but there are a couple of other callbacks to this episode and Picard playing his flute, isn't there?
Yeah, I think, this is where, TNG, we get to start to argue post season 3 and beyond. They started to get a lot better about callbacks and even to themselves and the continuity and the character growth, and kind of starting to buck the Gene Roddenberry, everything's going to be a bottle show and none of them you can, you're not rewarded for having watched because the callbacks are there. And so we do see some callbacks to this, which, as we all discussed earlier, after 40 years, I would hope he doesn't forget any of this. But we see him playing the flute in A Fistful of Datas and again in Lessons. So twice, once more, the flute came back along with the Jay Chataway score. And I guess the question was, was that enough? I think we kind of covered that earlier, that he would have been far more affected from his experience, and we should have seen a much more changed Picard as a result of what happened.
Hey, speaking of Lessons, I forgot we've got Nella Darren's #1 fan here on the podcast today. So come on, let's fight it out. Beverly Crusher or Nella Darren, who should Picard have ended up with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny. I put this as a regeneration. Like, I felt that what this episode missed, a missed opportunity, was a Beverly and Picard heart to heart at the end of the episode, talking and him just unloading what he went through. I think it would have been more appropriate than Troy. Just, hey, somebody who's known him all his life, so to speak, or a big portion. That would have been a really nice way for him to talk about what happened, but the right person for him to talk to about it.
Yeah.
See, if the episode was filmed nowadays, they could have gone a bit longer on streaming. So, 60 minutes, 65 minutes, and had all those little details just to expand it. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, Joe. I said earlier, a two-parter would have been too much, but, an extra 10 or 15 minutes probably would have been good.
Yeah. Do you know what's really interesting about his, what's his name? What's Picard's name on the planet?
Cayman.
Cayman. I've got it, just slipped my mind. Cayman, who is it Cayman? It's like Picard Cayman, isn't it? He's not Cayman later on in life. He's still Picard, because at one point we hear him playing Frere Jacques.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. I love that callback.
Yeah,
I've noticed that too.
Picard's still there.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't think of that. One of the things I love about the Inner Light suite, and I guess it's 20 years now, but someone created a YouTube video, and it is a timeline of all of Star Trek of the Berman era, really, from Enterprise through to Nemesis, played to that 6-minute orchestral version. And I've always loved it, and it always makes me cry. And I think the points in the music where it transitions from original series to Next Generation to DS9 is so perfect. So it's been a bit of a project of mine over the last few months to bring that up to speed and add in Lower Decks and Prodigy and the rest of Star Trek into it. Unfortunately, the song isn't long enough to be able to. So I've tried slowing it down a little bit to stretch it out, and it distorts it too much. So it's still a work in progress there, but I've really enjoyed. I've been listening to this suite of music a lot recently, which is one of the reasons we're covering it today.
Nice. Wow.
And Amy, I think there's someone else who loves this song quite a bit, isn't there?
Yes. So, guys, you should go check out on YouTube a fan and more importantly, an artist, Jillian Aversa. She produced and wrote lyrics to The Inner Light and recorded this video. It's out on YouTube. I don't know where the location is, but it's this long jetty. What do you call that? Embankment. Pier, yes. And so she's walking on it, and so the ocean or whatever it is, and the breeze, and it's just this. She wrote words, and it's a very beautiful video. I would highly recommend you go check that out on YouTube. Jillian Aversa.
Let's move on to some assimilations and regenerations. For those who don't remember, assimilations are things that we absolutely loved about this episode, and regenerations, maybe not so much. So let's start off with some assimilations. Amy, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. Just like Christos, I'm sure, and just like every one of you have seen this episode many, many times. So in rewatching it, what really stood out to me this time was the realization when Picard finally hits him I'm the one. the acting, how Patrick Stewart just, it came crashing down like, I am Picard. I wasn't crazy. And this whole domino of just shown on his face and his expression of, I'm the one, was truly magnificent and gorgeous to see it all come into place. And then we get this conclusion of him waking up, like that thread, I don't know, that portion of the story was so well highlighted. And I felt just the amount of time to get all the things dropping into place where everything's connecting, and it's like the last piece of the puzzle, and you're like, oh, I see it. That to me just absolutely assimilate every day and all day.
Amy was saying, I don't read your guys' assimilations usually. I just put mine, but I was just typing it and realizing as you were saying it, oh wait, that's what Amy's talking about. Because for me, it's that moment, that is probably my favorite moment of the episode, where he has this aha moment. And that, I think the way they had Picard aged up as an old man, and the gentleness in which he's very fragile by the end of the episode, because he's at that advanced age, but he still kind of has that glimmer of, oh, I'm the one, and it's just, you're right, it's just kind of magic. And it's kind of funny, this episode was never one that would make me tear up, but now it does as I'm an older person. You know what I mean? It makes that part makes me tear up now when I see this episode, versus when I was younger, I just thought it was more of a boring episode. So I do appreciate that for the same reasons that you do, Amy.
Yeah.
The scene at the end of the episode where Picard's alone in his quarters when Riker brings in the Ressikan flute really hit me on this rewatch. If you think of the life Picard has just lost of a massive family to now, and even the shots, the direction, he's alone with no music, very quiet in a dark quarters, wandering around, looking at his own objadar and knickknacks, not really recognizing this old life. He must have felt so lonely and alone. And that's actually his normal life. That's what he was happy in and cherished. But he must have been afraid. And the vulnerability of that, I've never, ever picked up on that in the past. When all of these watches, I always went to the scene you've just described of what fantastic acting, that moment of the penny dropping. But the sadness at the end, it made me cry when I was watching it this week.
Yeah, the contrast. You're right about that. Yeah.
What about you, Joe? Anything stand out for you? What do you love about it?
Sorry, I was not listening for the past 5 minutes on account of I was looking up where that music video was recorded, and I posted a link to it. It's in North Point State Park in Maryland, and there's an artificial pier. Looks a bit like a causeway to me. It's been built out from the park, and that's where she recorded it. It's quite beautiful.
I wonder if that's where the artist is from, if she's from Maryland. So we'll do some research on that.
Yeah.
Okay, any regenerations for the episode? Oh, go on, Amy, you're straight in there.
Yes. Okay, I am so sorry, but the hair of Cayman is just disgustingly wrong. Picard's bald. Okay, got it. So he comes in, and then like the scene where they decide to have a child, his hair has grown out. I get it, fine. Yes, his hair's going to grow out. But the dude is not 80 years old. He's got his hair covering his ears. No. He would still have, what would his age be? I don't know, 30, 40? But his hair is still going to have a cut and not over his ears. So it just looked way too old. And then when they have him at the really old, like his kids are all adult, and they've got him at the same hair No, I'm sorry. I'm being a Janeway talking about hair thing. This hair has got to go. It did not show his age progression well, in my opinion.
Stand down, Amy Nelson.
I was going to say, you could apply real life to this and say this was done in 92, and then in 97, it would have been about at the time of first contact. Patrick Stewart looked almost exactly the same. So, I mean, unless, of course,
they
you
did
know,
need to age him. Yeah.
the environmental conditions on that planet weren't that great. So maybe he was aging
that's
faster.
what I said. The planet was dry, you know, so skin and hair, everyone would have looked absolutely ravaged, like a day out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I think back, I think we're maybe a bit better at doing now in terms of TV shows and aging actors. Back in the day, it was like, let's a bunch of liver spots, fake wrinkles, and put some grey powder in their hair. And that was it. That was them old.
Yeah.
My regeneration for this episode is just the probe itself. I got the impression that the Ressikans, the people on the planet, are quite primitive. They didn't strike me as people who had the technology. Yes, build a rocket, fair enough, but this nucleonic beam connection to Picard, the story, the advanced technology to produce this, it was you just had to believe it. You just had to believe they could make it. And, you know, even the pots and the pans in the kitchen look like stone horns of rhinoceros. And who are these people?
Yeah.
They've got arthritis.
So they did
You
look
could
like,
have.
I thought of them being a kind of an agricultural society primarily. I think they were maybe a bit kind of post-industrial almost, pre-technological civilization. So if you notice the architecture in the village, it wasn't like mud huts. There was detail on it that would have required some kind of semi-advanced fabrication, I would imagine. But whether or not they would have been able to launch a probe, because they just started experimenting launching missiles, but for that probe to have super advanced brain scanning technology and implant memories in another,
like a very complex VR simulator.
Yes, but also to last 1,000 years, just floating through space.
That's a good. It was built to last. I was going to say something along the lines of maybe if they had kind of established that they have some sort of telepathic abilities or whatnot, and somehow they were able to harness that, you know, like that could have been like some sort of, like you said, a little bit more to the storyline to establish how they would be able to do that.
I like that regeneration.
So it's kind of funny.
Sorry, I thought, were they a bit like the Kelpians and the bad guys?
The Ba'ul.
Ba'ul,
yeah. Were there was a technologically advanced species and one that wasn't so much, or kept in the Dark Ages? Don't know. Probably not.
My regeneration, I kind of mentioned a little earlier, is kind of the anti of Kelvin's assimilation. And I just, you know, I did pick up on the Picard alone at the end of the episode. And like I said, that would be a really bad place mentally for somebody who's just gone through, you know, like, I'm going to call it trauma, but it is a type of trauma, you know. And, you know, I would have loved to have seen either Troy in there counseling him or just letting him talk about it all, or him confiding in a Beverly or a Guinan, even somebody he's got a long history with, and, you know, just really kind of, you know, in a way, getting it off his chest what he's been through.
Anything from you, Joe?
We know Picard doesn't really need a lot of therapy to get through his ordeals. Like, he had to have a fight in the mud in France to go over his whole assimilation and killing 30,000 people. So I think he's quite resilient, and he just gets on with the job. Just had to have a wee lie down in the dark for a wee 5 minutes, and then back to normal.
Yeah,
back to the
you know, I've got over assimilation. This is nothing. Yeah. See you next week. Where's Data's head? Amy, start us off with some trivia, please.
All right. Well, this episode is regarded as one of the best TNGs, of course. So let me give you some facts of why we say that. Entertainment Weekly ranked this episode number 3 on their list of the top 10 episodes to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Star Trek Next Generation. Patrick Stewart nominated this episode as the greatest acting challenge he faced in the 7 years of the Next Generation. Michael Westmore noted that The Inner Light was the show Patrick Stewart should have won an Emmy for. Michael Piller named this episode, along with The Measure of the Man and The Offspring, as one of his favorite TNG episodes because they had, quote, remarkable emotional impacts. And they genuinely explored the human condition, which this franchise does better than any other when it does it well, end quote.
Yes. So good. For those of you who still have your TNG DVDs, the music for this episode was when you turn the menu on, when it loads up, actually features the flute solo.
Nice.
What's a DVD?
A lovely gentleman called Morgan Gendel pitched a sequel which was never produced, and this story was called The Outer Light, and it was adapted as a comic on trekmovie.com.
I'm curious to know what that's about.
Yeah.
Picard goes back to Catan and finds his remains as Kanan. Like his bones. Like, that was me.
Get back on script, Joe.
Oh, sorry. I was wondering what.
That's a short trek.
Like 2 minutes, yeah. Writer Peter Allen Fields praised Patrick Stewart's performance. He commented, "I understand Patrick enjoyed playing it very much, and it was a delight to be able to write it." However, Fields saved his highest praise for guest actress Margot Rose, who played Aline. She was absolutely superb. No ifs, ands, or buts. I was grateful to have written something that an actress of that caliber had brought to life. She was excellent. I had never seen her before. I saw dailies, so I saw aspects of her performance that, unfortunately, the audience never got to see because the show ran long. They had to take out 7 minutes. The official Star Trek, that quote's from the official Star Trek Next Generation magazine, issue 21, page 25.
Do you want to say that?
None of those. No, I was going to say that it's interesting that it ran 7 minutes over, and that there's no like the deleted scenes, or that could have
This episode won the 1993 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. It's the third of 4 Star Trek episodes to win the award, and was the first television episode to win since the original Star Trek. The others are The Menagerie, Part 1 and Part 2, The City on the Edge of Forever, and All Good Things. This episode was also nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Makeup for a series.
But not for hair.
I don't know, gaming.
Not for hair, just makeup.
There we go. So in this episode, Kamen pleads with Maribor, which is his daughter, right? I think, to make now always the most precious time. Now will never come again. Picard later echoes those words to Commander Riker following the destruction of the Enterprise D in Star Trek Generations.
Nice.
Tying it all together.
Yes.
Picard's flute appears in a deleted scene from Star Trek Nemesis, during which Picard and Data discuss the crew going their own ways.
And Patrick Stewart's son, Daniel Stewart, portrayed Kamen's son, Batai, during his life on Catan. I found it interesting that from reading Patrick Stewart's recent autobiography, this appearance was not too long after his separation from his wife following his affair with Jennifer Hattrick, Vash. And it was part of the healing with his son, whereas his daughter took much longer to accept her father's actions, and that reconciliation took many more years.
I did not know that about Jennifer Hattrick.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. That was. I think that was I don't know how. Was that a big revelation in his book? Because I think that was the first time I'd heard about that.
It was to me. Yeah.
It was to me.
Yeah. It was to me. Yeah. Yeah, so Make It So by Patrick Stewart to get the whole story. I actually felt like I purposely didn't mention Daniel Stewart the whole way through our conversation because I saw you had this in here, but I also feel like that's one of the many factors of what makes this episode good. Because I think he's very believable as his son, obviously, because he is.
the scene where he says, "I'm going to quit school," and he goes, "No, you're not." It was delivered exactly like the dad speaking to the son. There was no acting there. That was him telling his son off. It was so believable and reflex.
What was it that Picard saves from the wreckage at the end of Generations? It wasn't his flute, was it?
Oh, the family album.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The photo album.
Right, okay. Well, we're only on episode 2 of our Music of Star Trek, and our previous offering was Strange New Worlds Subspace Rhapsody. So not a huge amount of episodes to choose from, but who did it better? Who has celebrated music more in Star Trek? Is it The Inner Light or is it Subspace Rhapsody? Christos, would you like to start us off with an opinion?
I do have an opinion. Actually, I know how I'm going to answer this already, so I'll go first. So I'm going to pick Subspace Rhapsody because I feel like while Inner Light is peak Trek in general, the music is not necessarily what makes Inner Light. It's a component of it, whereas Subspace Rhapsody is literally all about the music. So, and so I love them both, definitely, but I love them both for different reasons. And so I'm going with Subspace Rhapsody.
Interesting. And Joe, when it comes to the music of Star Trek, which of those 2 episodes did it better?
I'm refusing to answer the question on the grounds that it's comparing apples and oranges. They're not the same type of episode, so they're all Star Trek episodes have music in them. So what? Like Christos said, Subspace Rhapsody is literally about the music, isn't it? And Inner Light just features some little tunes that I could write. Give me 5 seconds and I'll write a little tune for Picard to play on his flute.
Oh, well, please forgive me for choosing this episode and forcing it into a scene that we have on All Good Things here. Amy, save us before.
Okay. Yes.
Do better, Kelvin. Do better.
So, who was there with me? I feel like it was one of you guys at STLV. And when they had the license and Roddenberry it was the beginning of Picard season 1. It was right before that. And they had the entire room and it was all setting up for Picard. So it was this timeline of Christos. Was I with you?
They had the Picard Museum.
Yes, the Picard Museum was there. And you're going through and they had in this corner the Ressikan flutes, and they had a speaker above it that was playing the Inner Light theme. And you see the photo album and all the important things of Picard that he has saved. And so you're going through this Picard Museum and you come across the corner, and it was totally overwhelming. I teared up because the emotion of all of this episode and what it summarizes of all of TNG, if you allow it to, like that is power. And so when I'm looking at power of who did it better musically, I have to give it to Inner Light, but that's only because I have 30, 40 years of context that goes behind this music. And with Subspace Rhapsody, Christos, that was on repeat for weeks. I didn't listen to anything. And like that. That also has power, but it doesn't have the time.
It's different.
Yeah. And to your point, I agree with you. The Inner Light is the music plays a portion, where Subspace Rhapsody, it is about the music. So what do I like best in my Star Trek? That's going to be the answer. And I hate choosing the Inner Light because it's against Subspace Rhapsody, but I am going Inner Light.
I just think when we have these kind of choices to make it makes us appreciate how good Trek can be, because when it's like, picking a favorite kid almost or something like that. I remember that, Amy, and I think I have pictures of it when we went through that, because I had been at San Diego Comic-Con, and then a month later, or a few weeks later, it was at STLV, and I think that was 2019, because Picard started at the beginning of the pandemic, basically. So it had to have been before.
So then it was a 2019.
I'm gonna when we're done, I'm gonna go through my digital. So
yes,
because
I have it in my photo album too. Yes,
it was 2019 because that was the only other STLV I've been to before this year. So, and they had the Picard Museum there. So remember the Queen's skeleton.
Yeah. I will say too, with Rhapsody, I like that so much. I spent the better part of this last STLV running around getting my vinyl record autographed by the Strange New Worlds cast. So that was my mission. Oh, that was a very, in retrospect, that was a very expensive
record album.
Look back, nothing can happen. This thing's got about $600 invested into it at this point.
Right.
I am on the same wavelength as Amy, that I have a lot of investment over the years in this episode. It triggers very happy memories from watching it as a teenager. I'm still learning things about it now, and I love this piece of music and always have. And I'm giving it to The Inner Light. It's interesting. Am I still going to be so passionate about Subspace Rhapsody in 25 years as I am about this piece of music now from 25 years ago? So who can say? But I love how we change our minds in these Who Did It Better. Today, right here, right now, I'm giving it The Inner Light because I really enjoyed visiting this episode.
Calling all audiophiles and Trekkies. Prepare to boldly go where no podcast listener has gone before with the diverse soundscapes of BQN. We're not just a network, we're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Charting the Star Trek cosmos, we have all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy Class, Engage. Stephen and Stefan pilots this deep space mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek The Next Generation. Infinite Diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiances lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into the rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the T-Bab? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as a podcast, our Trexperts quiz. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. Beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Zalogis. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. And Transformational Journeys. Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. To unlock deeper levels of engagement, try our patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. And check out our back catalog of It's Green, a verdant cornucopia of topics offering diverse and engaging conversations, and Amy's Math Moments. Discover the subtle and not so subtle mathematical wonders woven into the fabric of Star Trek. You can stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following at BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Bluesky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
Christos, would you like to tell us where we are going next week, please?
Sure. We're going into part 4 of our Origin of a Species series, and we're going to be doing a deep dive on everyone's favorite overused villains, the Borg.
That's going to be a big
yeah, so it's going to be kind of, they've compared so much, it's going to be hard to condense the thoughts. And, so I guess I have a lot of work to do this week as far as watching a bunch of Borg episodes. They span many series.
If you want to save time, there's countless YouTube videos that people have put up there about the origin of the Borg. So watch a compilation. It will do you a lot of favors.
Your cliff notes.
Yeah, I need another Lego set to watch, so I could just put on the Borg playlist.
There you go.
Okay, well, we would love to hear what you thought of today's show, and there are many ways you can do this. You can join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, or you can join our Discord server. You can follow the network on Bluesky and Instagram at BQN Podcasts to continue the discussion there. You can find all the links and the invite codes in the show notes. So, Joe, where can people find you when you are not being ravaged by the sun, with your hair like straw and your skin like rubber?
I'm aging backwards, but when I'm not doing that, you can find me on Instagram mostly these days. We can follow the evolution of my baking at Joe77UK. Amy, where can people find you when you're not, like me, growing old super gracefully?
Oh, thank you. Well, when I'm not doing that, because I'm going to age backwards just like you, Joe, you can find me here on the network where I'm co-hosting Union Federation. We are in our Q series, having a good time. We're now in our Voyager Q episodes. You can find me in the Discord server or on our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. And Christos, where can people find you when you aren't listening to Subspace Rhapsody album that cost you a pretty penny?
See, I have a financial investment in that episode. That's mine.
Yes.
You can find me on our Discord server and the BQN Collective there on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at What's the Tea Dev. And yeah, that's I think that's pretty much it. And Kelvin, where can people find you when you're not fingering your flute?
When I'm not doing that, you can find me in the BQN Collective, or you can come and get me directly on most of the socials at Kelvin's Timeline.
You'll never hear a commercial here on BQN. And if you'd like to help us keep all our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can watch the raw, uncut version of this very podcast, or you can join our reaction shows, script readings, and enjoy our special patron-only shows of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details and watch your messages.
Now, if becoming a patron isn't your thing, you can still support the show by sharing our posts on social media, talking about it with your friends, or hitting the like and subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leaving us a 5-star rating and written review, because that will help others find the show and build our community of awesome listeners.
Aww. And at this time, we would like to thank our very own associate producer, JJ Seastrom. Thanks, people. Greg Kelly for our opening and closing music, and to our very own Kelvin for our weekly artwork each and every week.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you'll join us.
As we said,
All good things.